Of course, these type of videos will keep the editing to a minimum. This is the latest 2022 iPad Air. This is the latest Kindle Scribe. If you're looking at this video thinking which one's better from multimedia, look away. That's not what this is about. This is about whether you want to buy either of these for the purposes of reading and note-taking. Other than that, the Kindle can't do anything. It doesn't have audio, it doesn't have apps, it has no infrastructure to do anything outside of books, magazines, manga, and note-taking to a lesser extent. This is the one that comes with an Apple Pencil, but it's capable to use an Apple Pencil. Doesn't come bundled. The Apple Pencil is an additional $100. This on the left is about $350. On the right, it's about $450 USD. With the pen, it's another $100, $550. So the space between these two from a price perspective is not a huge difference, but $200 might sway your decision. On something like an Apple iPad, you need to charge it every day if you use it normally. On something like a Kindle, you don't. You can charge this once a month, maybe once every 2 weeks kind of thing under constant use. The beauty about an e-paper screen is that when you look at an e-paper screen, it's not using any battery right now. This is constantly using battery. An e-paper screen doesn't use battery unless you change state. Look at that. Now it used batteries, but now it's not. If you leave this on the screen, it will likely stay like this until the dinosaurs come back. This is flickering anywhere between 24 to 120 times a second, depending on the refresh rate of an LCD LED screen. But the beauty is, look at the difference when you swipe pages. You see how this is more crunchy and crumbly, and this one kind of blurs out. And that's because this is utilizing little microcapsules that move up and down in order to change state. This one doesn't. This is always ready for you. So anything you do on this, it's going to be lightning quick. It's going to be so fast. You'll never get that on an e-paper screen. But the benefits of e-paper screen is that this is the exact same thing as looking at your piece of paper. It doesn't hurt your eyes at all. This will constantly. Blue light cut, low brightness, you do whatever you want. It'll never be the exact same as an e-paper screen. So let's get into some note-taking to start things off. In terms of note-taking capabilities, they're drastically different, as you can see. You get all sorts of colors, you get a scrolling canvas, you can do all sorts of things like highlighters, and you can do a double tap on the pen to even change it in between things. So if I'm writing with a pen, I can double tap it and trigger the eraser. Look at that. Boom, boom. I'm back to the pen, double tap, and I'm back to the eraser. That's awesome. Now, the downside is that this feels like writing on a piece of glass. And you know why is because you're writing on a piece of glass. The pen tips are expensive. They're very fragile. They wear down, which is a shame because they're so expensive, and the pen needs to be charged and synced to the device before use. When you snap it, you'll see that it's 100%. But even using this for 10-20 minutes, it can be down to as low as half, if not 60%. So granted, it does charge quickly, but it is a downside that you always have to worry about that. Whereas on the Amazon, it uses standard Wacom, which means I can take notes and I can erase with the back or the eraser that is included, like that. Or I can utilize the secondary button on the side to do things like highlighter and sticky notes and stuff like that. But you don't need to charge this, ever. And the tips are a dime a dozen. You can buy a pack of 10 for nothing. So this is a lot better of a technology, I believe. It costs nothing to get into. You can buy pens as cheap as $6 and it has the exact same pen tip. So you'll get the same writing experience. And this feels significantly better than that to write on. The combination of the palm tip and the grittiness of the screen gives you a realistic writing feel. Is it the most realistic pen writing feel in the world? No, not by a long shot, but it is worlds above that. So if you want something with realism, you cannot, I have to go back to that, you cannot compare a tablet with an e-reader. There's some people that will sell you that realistic paper feel screen protector online for $60. Don't buy those. It doesn't feel like writing on paper. It corrects the situation a little bit, but it's nothing that it's going to be like on an e-note. So in terms of overall functionality, the iPad has the Kindle beat 20 times out of 20. There's just so much more you can do. You can do colors, you can do different pen thicknesses, pen lines, translucency, you can add text, you can add different bleed levels, you can make these beautiful paintbrush lines with a level of translucency to go over things like that, and it's the quickest in the world. If we're talking about e-notes, LCD LED is always going to be quick. You'll never match latency. Why that is because, again, this is ready for you to go. It's waiting, it's waiting, it's waiting. Boom, I did something. Boom, I did something. Like that. Amazon's not waiting for you. E-notes don't wait for you. Once you do something, they say, oh, okay, now I'm ready, like that. And there's ghosting. There's always going to be ghosting because there's a leftover remnants of the little pixels that went up and down to create the image. You can get rid of that by doing things to force refresh, like tapping the top, sliding the top down, all that goes away. But with e-notes and e-paper screens, aka e-readers, you're going to get that issue. And with something like an Amazon, you get far less features. You only get a couple thicknesses of lines, you get a few highlighters, an eraser, kind of a useless pointer thing that tricks the pen into thinking it's your finger when you can just use your finger, and you get undo, redo, and then move it to the right side. That's it. The level of functionality and bells and whistles is next to nothing on the Amazon Kindle Scribe. Funnily enough, the Amazon actually has a higher PPI than the iPad. This has a 300 PPI, whereas this only has 264. You might be thinking, why is that important? It's because pixel density dictates how dense the pixels are, basically how squished together they are. So although this is creating e-reader experience with whites and blacks, it's constantly using lights. This isn't. You don't have to use a light. If you're wondering if you can read this at night, you can. You can turn on the glow light like that, which is a illuminated panel of LEDs. And if you turn the glow light off of this, you can't see it. So it's not reflective LCD, which means if you turn the lights off, we're not able to do this video, which is why we have it as down as possible for this, to make it still look good on camera. These are going to be more crisp and realistic characters than that. It's hard to tell on camera because this just looks so fresh and good, but to achieve this, it's something monumental in the e-reader industry. If you're not following e-readers, no device that's ever been 10 inches has had 300 PPI before. Nothing's ever looked as high quality as this before when it comes to reading books. Of course, you can use any app under the sun when it comes to an Apple device, whereas on the Kindle you have to use the Amazon app, so you have to go to a book and then you have to open it. But with that, you get a great deal of capabilities. You can change your font, you can change your text, you can change really anything to cater this to yourself. And again, reading this is not going to hurt your eyes. It's not going to affect your eyes. It won't make you tired. You won't grab the bridge of your nose, whereas this, it will. And that's just the reality of an LCD LED tablet. So I hope this gives you a little bit of an inside look at not only the differences between an LCD tablet and an e-paper tablet, but if you're looking for a holiday gift and you're thinking about an iPad, there are positives and negatives. And if you're thinking about a large screen e-reader, there are positives and negatives. Both of these are available on Amazon.com, so it's just a matter of use case. If you want something that's a couple $100 less and you want to read books, you want to read some manga, and you don't mind the lack of audio and other things like that, an Amazon Kindle would be good. If you want to splurge a little bit more, buy an Apple Pencil, do those note-taking that you really want to get a full multimedia experience, you can get that, but just be aware you got to charge this way more often, in fact 4, 5, 6 times more often than you would pound for pound on an ebook reader. For GoodyReader.com, this is Peter.